Well, guys, stick with me because we're talking Mars and Sagittarius. He comes here every 2 years for 6 weeks. And it really is a pattern you can look at in your life. In today's video, we're really focusing on you, not the world astrology. I covered that in my world astrology for the month ahead. I want to see how I can help you use Mars as he moves through Sagittarius to navigate through the time of November the 4th to December the 15th, to look at patterns when this has happened before, but to also know that this is unique. It's very different than you've experienced in the years behind us because Uranus is sitting in the sign of Gemini directly across the way. So while we can in some ways compare the feeling of Mars moving through the sign of Sagittarius, we can in no way say it is exactly the same way. Yet it's useful to be able to tune into the sky, use the sky as a navigational tool to move in the direction of the flow, not swimming upstream or pushing against the wind. So this is my hope today in this short video. This is a sudden pop-up video that's not on one of my regular publishing days, which is Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, but it's probably coming out Tuesday, Mars's day, because I almost didn't do this video, but I thought, Mars is important. Mars is the kind of thing where you make decisions and you take actions and things happen and change happens. And we need Mars in our life. And if we know what he's doing in the chart based on our sun, moon, and rising, we can make better decisions because Mars is the god of decisions. Welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Lori Lothian, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac. And in today's video, if there are any minor asteroids that come to my attention, you will definitely hear about them. But more importantly, I really want to give you the broad brushstroke of how to deal with Mars moving through one part of your sky. 12 whole sign pie slices equal 12 areas of your life, from career to marriage to children to health to pets to social groups and friends, to money earned or inherited. So we're going to talk about those parts of the sky so you can make sense of what's happening at this time. When you're listening today for your sun sign, think about it as your career, purpose, and the true essential core nature of who you are. And instead, if you're listening to your sun, did I say sun sign? Yeah, core essential nature of who you are. But if you're listening to your rising sign, it's your avatar simulation character, right? So the sun is the actor then, and the character or the role the actor plays would be like your ascendant. Both of those delineations are very accurate for listening to in astrology. And that's because as we get older or when we're very young, we often really allow for our essential core nature, our soul to shine through the character. The moon is how you feel and think about your life. It's kind of the mentalization feeling complex, but it also relates to matters to do with your home. And if you're listening for your moon sign, matters to do with your home might be influenced by this reading today. For an example, when I have eclipses to my moon every 18 years, I always move. And it's like clockwork. Moon is your home. Time to move. One thing I want to mention here as we get going, I'll probably draw a card from the power deck because Mars is the power of decisions and actions that we take based on our decisions. Some of you are going to notice that my camera is all fuzzy. I had to take my MacBook Pro in for a repair. Yes, it is a grand water trine in the sky. And I did something I haven't done since 2017. I spilled liquid on my keyboard, even though I turned it upside down. And, from now on, I'm always drinking something when I'm working. I'm going to be making sure that my laptop is higher than beverages on my desk. And so basically I turned my laptop upside down as fast as I could, but it wasn't enough. So thank God I have the Apple Care Plus warranty, and it's being repaired in the next few days or replaced whatever is needed. So in the meantime, you'll have to deal with this really old MacBook Air with a kind of fuzzy look on the camera, which has been damaged, I think. So it's the best I can do. So thanks for your patience, but at least the volume should be good. The mic is the same. And there's something about that grand water trine. I've had clients talking about plumbing issues. Of course, we had the massive flooding in Jamaica from the hurricane, flooding in Alaska. We've been under this big water trine energy that's quite rare through much of October and coming back through much of November. So I looked at the time that I spilled the liquid on the keyboard, and it was exactly the time when the ascendant was moving through Cancer in Vancouver, Canada, around 8:15 or 8:30 in the evening. And what also it means that it meant where I'm sitting is in the middle of a triangle of water. Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter expanding it all in Cancer. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. Now, let's get going. Let's talk about your sign. Let me share my opinions of it. Let me tell you how to deal with it, and we'll get started. If you like this kind of all signs content, don't forget to like and subscribe. That little pushing of the button makes this channel grow. I mean, it is literally like putting fertilizer on a plant when you click the like button. It's even more fertilizer on the plant when you subscribe. This tells YouTube that someone likes my content and will share it to people who haven't heard of me before. And I really appreciate when you do that. I just had somebody come onto my channel and make a lovely comment about being new here and loving the content and being grateful that the algorithm suggested me. And so there you go. There we have it. I'm actually liking the interface between my older software on my old MacBook Air and the Zoom app, because I was having so much jiggly wiggly problems really badly with the MacBook Pro Tahoma. All right, or Tahoe or Tahoma or whatever it's called. Alrighty, November 1st. Let's talk about this week ahead. I'm not talking about the week ahead. Sorry, that video came out Monday. Go watch the week ahead where I cover the direct opposition that's happening as Mars crosses the border and moves into the next sign. Let's also just get rid of the junk in the trunk here. I was looking at a chart for a client, so let's go like that. Yeah. You guys asked me about getting a reading with me. My Patreon community gets first opportunity to see me. And so if you're not on my Patreon community, unfortunately, and it's pretty cheap, but I can't do any better. I'm honoring the people who are really following me and supporting me over there as well. So I open up spots and they grab them and they're gone pretty quickly. But you can still see me if you want to join my Patreon community. New spots will be opening up in the new year. All right, so November 1st is where we're sitting, and you'll notice, and my 2026 All Signs Bundle, Time Your Best Life in 26, is now on the pre-sale price of $44, delivered to your inbox December 1st. You don't want to miss that. That price never comes back. After that, it's $66. Individual signs will go on sale for $33 each in December. But you can buy the whole bundle, listen for Sun, Moon, and Rising, share with friends and family. Information in the description box below. All right, so look, my partner always laughs at me. Well, my whatever. Like I'm always saying, look, hey, look, look. It means I'm a visual learner because I say look a lot. You'll notice that Mars is getting ready to cross over this line right here, 29 degrees Scorpio on November 3rd. And then he crosses over on November 4th and immediately opposes Uranus for some first in a lifetime shock and awe vibe. However, I'm not going to cover that today because on Monday's video yesterday, I described that energy for your sign. The good news is it does flow to Pluto, which gives it a little bit of a softening of the intensity. And I do like that about it. But if you want to listen to your sign, that was yesterday. Today, I think this is coming out on Tuesday, Mars's day, but it may not be. We'll see. I hope it does. I would tell you that you are going to want to listen today with the idea of history in mind, and I will remind each sign what that is. But we will go into the idea that you had Mars in Sagittarius, November 24th of 2023 through to January of 2024, and also experience the same energy December 13th of 2021 to the third week of January 2022. So we're going to talk about how you can compare notes and use that information as a proactive tool to say, well, how did it feel back then? However, this time it's not the same. This time we've got that Uranus surprise electric current breaking free, breaking through energy. And it can be positive, Mars and Uranus, to pitch you up against something that you need to make a decision or a life change or an action that feels like you're breaking ground on new territory. You're breaking free and through something. So there is a positive side to that. For those of you who don't have software for astrology and you always want to figure out when things are happening, I really like Cafe Astrology as a good resource. And all you have to usually do is Google and say, search words, Mars through the signs table or history. That's what this is. I probably went Cafe Astrology, Mars, signs, table history, and you'll get this entirely comprehensive. This goes back to like the 1940s through to another, 50 years from now, delineation as Mars moves through and in and out of signs. And so there's an important tool and a resource for you. So you don't always have to rely on your astrologers like me to tell you what's happening. You can go back and you can track your whole life. Like there's Mars entering Sagittarius on November 24th, 2023. And by January 4th, he leaves for Capricorn. So hopefully that will be a tool that helps you use astrology for your very own self. Now let's go ahead and talk about each separate sign and let's get started. We're not starting with Cancer, Cancer. We're starting today with Aries. Yes, we are. Somebody asked me to start with Pisces. Sometimes I can do that, especially if like there's a full moon in Pisces or something. From now on, I will. But the problem with that is that in a live premiere, people will think that we're done. Like they come in and hear me talking about Pisces in the beginning and they think that the show is over, you know? And I do a lot of live premieres and I'm in the chat with you. Sorry, guys, I'm having tech issues with getting Aries to line up. Come on, Aries. There we There we are. All right, let's get started. I'm just going to put a little air in my house. It's warm here. All right. All right. Boy, I'm not used to being so blurry after getting my brand new fancy computer, for goodness sakes. Let's start with Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Mars is moving into Sagittarius on November 4th to December 15th, just like he did November 24th of 23 to January 4th of 25, just like he did to 24, 24, and just like he did November 4th of 2000 and I thought I wrote it down. Let me start all over again. I did write it down. I'm having issues. Just like he did November 24th, 2023 to January 4th, 2024. Okay. And just like he did December 13th of 2021 to January 24th of 2022. Keep those dates in mind because you're going to be able to compare some notes to how you felt during those times, with the exceptions of outer planets having changed signs, but still it's the same principle. Let's get rolling. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. When Mars is moving through Sagittarius in your ninth house, you like this. He's in a beautiful plying trine to your sun, moon, and rising. And during the entire time, all of those weeks ahead, which is November 4th to December 15th, you're feeling good about it. In fact, you might want to travel internationally. I'm an Aries sun and moon, and I traveled to Atlanta, Georgia in the November 23 to January of 24, and including Belize. And I also traveled internationally. I'm Canadian. December 13th to January 24th as well. So there's travel that you will, or not internationally, I just traveled. I traveled from Montreal to Vancouver, which is like another country, but big travel. Mars in the ninth house likes to travel. There may be exciting, exhilarating travel opportunities emerging for you during this transit that allow for you to really activate some excitement in your life, some passion, some ardor, some alignment with purpose. And you'll feel more or less, because of the Uranian energy just across the way, more exhilarated, more like you're having breakthrough, taking off the chains that bind you, whatever those chains are energetically. And don't forget, we get some support from Pluto. So some of this travel may be with friends. It may be connected to a sibling one older, or it may be connected to travel that opens up doors of opportunity for greater profitability in your career. And also book publishing and writing can be quite successful during this transit. My agent Eileen will be happy to hear. Maybe I'll do a book proposal for her finally. And the energy, one last thing about the ninth house, right? And the energy of the dharmic energy. It wants you to find purpose and align with it. So you might find that some of your choices and some of your decisions are really going to take you very clearly and very cleanly towards more meaningful, purposeful life directions. Let's draw a card from the power deck because Mars is going to ask you to make decisions and take actions. And let's grab a card. I'm hoping this video is no longer than an hour and 15 minutes because I've got to finish my Substack All Signs Monday. Well, it's due now. It's due today, Sunday. I'm recording Sunday. This is the masculine. It says East and yellow, and the card is beautiful. And it says for you that this energy of Mars in the ninth house for 6 weeks will be helping you carrying your gift of consciousness from the heart of woman, the heart of Mama Earth, and trek toward the summit of higher knowledge. Because male and female imbalances, Earth is in danger of dying. Remember that the power of the masculine explodes as the power of the feminine implodes, and a sacred spiral of life is set into motion. One cannot live without the other. The masculine god, by the way, Mars is in the house of God and Uranus is in the house of goddess. The masculine god for you is in search of the feminine goddess. He brings gifts of driving force to her powers of intuitive, creative receptivity. Both are equal warriors in the fight against ignorance. Balance your masculine and feminine energies through meditation and awareness, and know when you are carrying a male or female shield. This is your strength in the next 6 weeks as Mars moves through the sign of Sag. All right. So I'm going to work on my masculine and feminine balance. I had a dream that was all about that only a week ago. So you can't make that up. I could tell I was doing that like dream about my inner masculine and inner feminine and trying to balance them. And it was a beautiful dream, actually. Moving into the next sign. And that will be Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. So, hey, Taurus folk, it's like you want to travel back in time, please. Just bear with me to December 13th of 2021 to January 24th of 2022, or November 24th of 2023 to January 4th of 2024 to compare notes, because it's in your 8th house, which is a challenging house. Mars here, this time, November 4th to December 15th, is quite capable of having you excavate things to do with betrayal, shame, trauma, especially childhood trauma. Your abandonment, shame, and betrayal wounds are here. This is a very psychological house. And Mars is with Mercury, especially very investigative or paring away, digging up, the stuff that needs to be excavated here. And you'll notice that with Uranus across the way in your 2nd house, it's going to impact your self-worth. This is first in a lifetime. Your self-worth, your self-value, your values and your beliefs maybe, but values for sure around earnings, money, resources, and worthiness. Your worthiness stuff is going to come up. And if you've ever had any moments in time where you've been ashamed or you felt really bad or about your own behavior, some of that is clearing with massive breakthroughs at this time. And with Pluto in the 10th house, it's going to primarily impact your relationship to your father figures, even in your childhood, and clearing out that stuff, but also connects to your reputation and work. It's doing the inner work to get the outer power and success as a result. Finally, if you're into the occult mysteries, tarot, numerology, astrology, anything like that, the occult hidden mystery realms belong to the 8th house. You might be diving in passionately to Mercury is there to learn more about it. And another element that might be going on here, and you could experience a sudden or surprising or shocking situation, all righty, with a potential father figure connected to perhaps illness or passing for some of you, just some of you. But it is also going to be really good for your soul in this chart because you're really moving through some kind of new values arrangement, okay? What you value, how you value yourself, what your worth is. I do love the ingress when Mars enters into Sag, that we see that you have an exalted moon in Taurus, which opens up doors of positive, exciting success and energy for you. Nothing wrong with that at all. And so the exalted moon says you're in kind of a really good energy field as this thing begins, and it sort of bakes in, I think, a positive energy for you. Let's go ahead and grab a card. I can't believe how blurry I am. If you're coming in and you didn't listen to my intro, I have had a liquid spill on my keyboard of my MacBook Pro, which is now being either replaced or repaired. Thank you to my Apple warranty. You need to do some centering. This is the Buddha. Well, it's the 8th house. He's in Times Square and he's super chill. Super chill. Never leave your center. Count your bad points as well as good. What is good and what is bad are most often purely relative. Taurus, if you sense a weakness within yourself, explore it. It may become the source of your greatest strength. So there's that psychological depth exploration going on here. You might work with a psychologist. As you sit like a sacred Buddha amid the pandemonium of life, always remember the situation or person who has the ability to upset you the most and to pull you off your center is your greatest teacher. In the process of centering, remember that a focus on negativity can become your addiction. When you center yourself, Taurus, in your power, you release the need for constant distraction from your center. That is the deep moksha, spiritual liberation work that comes off that 8th house. Find your true center. You're not the character in the simulation. You're the one who plays the character in the simulation. That's the real you. I don't know why my mouse isn't working because it says it's hooked up. Okay, maybe I'll stop the share and fix it. It says it's connected, but it's not working. And this is my thing lately. I'm having the weirdest tech issues. Holy man. All right. let's just not worry about it. Moving into the sign of Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Here comes Mars through Sagittarius, just like he did way back in the day of November the 24th, 2023 to January 4th, 2024. Or go back further, December 13th of 2021 to January 24th, 2022. This is a time when Mars is moving through the house of significant long-term love relationships. Often when he's here, he can cause separation or distance, a cutting away from that person. It doesn't have to be a breakup. It could be related to travel, for example. I do have a progressed Gemini sun, and I can remember that I was traveling away from actually, I was traveling with my partner. Let's add something to that. So you might travel with your significant other. You might be separated from or cut away from that person as well. December the 13th of 21 to January 24th of 22 is another time to go back and think about separation from some significant person in your life. Again, it could be literal, like a breakup or ending of a relationship, but it could also be, just time apart for reasons of something important going on between you and the person. You're not co-present. The other thing about that is that trolls can show up. People can be gnarly and mean towards you. You might find yourself dealing with aggressive people. Your partner, him or herself, could be more aggressive than they usually are during this kind of transit. Mars here is also helping you pair away, cut away situations with other people that doesn't work for you anymore. And with Pluto in the ninth house, this is also legal matters to do with lawsuits or legal entanglements that you're trying to clear up and straighten up as well during November the 4th to December the 5th this time around. With Uranus here for the very first time, however, you've got this Uranian energy redefining your sun for your career, your moon, your home life and emotions, or your rising sign, Gemini, anything about your life. And it's really a big energy that you're holding on to. You're carrying this breaking outside the mold, no straitjacket for you energy. And Mars is opposing that, but Pluto tries to make it work out. Therapists, religion, pastors, rabbis, ministers, those types of ninth house people are trying to smooth some edges out. Like this could very well be like a marriage counseling need, a need for marriage counseling, right? Or something like that. It could also allow for you between November the 4th and the 15th to travel to see a significant other as well, especially if the significant other is connected to a foreign land or distant shore. Let's see what we get as a power deck card to give you a sense of how to engage these 6 weeks of energy in which Mars moves through Sagittarius. Now, I'm going to grab a card. I am wiggling on my chair. I don't think I want to sit today. You've got the illumination card. It's yellow on the medicine wheel. Oh, it's got a bird flying. I love that. There we go. Beautiful. And the message for you to use the 6-week transit: as darkness comes, the mirrors of your spirit reflect different images. And it's time, Gemini, when the world changes and your being begins to glow, reflect on a new vision that has been living on the perimeter of your consciousness. Because the opposition is also client, audience, marketplace, Mars, and then you with wanting to break free and through your, customer client relations, your public, your marketplace, and Pluto in the Dharma house, where you have the sense of wanting to be in line with an illuminated purpose, there could be some major changes in how you approach your client, marketplace, audience, if you have one. It could also bring you a book publishing contract that surprises you. Reflect on the new vision that has been living in the perimeter of your consciousness. An idea is stalking you and awaits your invitation. Yes, I've got a book I'm starting too. A place, I have a progressed sun there in Gemini, a place within you to begin new life. The totality of your creativity comes after you have begun your work on the sacred painting of your life. It's then that the muses of inspiration surround you like eagles and cheer you on to illumination. Take responsibility for your work and your life, and illumination will follow. All right. I hope that's helpful in some fundamental way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And also, the old drill, guys, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Energetically speaking, where's my tea? I have a green tea going here. You have Sagittarius, 6th house, Mars, from November 4th to December 5th. What is the 6th house? Well, before I tell you about it, go back to December the 13th to January 24th of 2021 into 22, or November 24th of 2023 through to January 4th of 2024. You've had this before. We're just comparing notes. It's different this time. Uranus is across the way. But energetically, it has to do with your pets, your work, and health. Sometimes it has to do with debts owed to you, or another, like you owe a debt or someone owes you money. And sometimes it has to do with elements of karmic relief, karmic debt relief. And every now and then rental contracts to rent a property out as a landlord, lease it out to a tenant, or as a tenant to lease a property. So energy wise, you might have experienced some changes in all of those areas back in the dates I've already mentioned. Now, when Mars is here moving through this part of the sky, he's opposite Uranus in the 12th house. If you have any health challenges and you're causing them, you're your own worst dietary enemy or addiction enemy, or patterns from past lives, holding you back from better wellness and health, you can have a massive breakthrough. But you might also need to apply Mars to your breakthrough: more movement, more exercise, more working out, maybe some physiotherapy and massage. Or Mars here could also lend itself to some surgical procedure that can heal or clear a problem with your health. Sag has to do with the hips, so going to physio, working on hip mobility or hip pain is also a good time when Mars is here for you, just for your sign. And, the beautiful flow to Pluto in your 8th house could definitely indicate something to do with some money coming to you, because Pluto is shared resources with other people, and maybe loans, bank loans, mortgages, credit card debt. And there's maybe this shocking, surprising, if not exciting, elimination of some debt that you're carrying, right? So I think that that's one of the ways this definitely can play out. You're very, I don't care, just a credit card debt. And a sudden boom, there's some money that shows up and allows you to pay it off. Or you and your partner receive, if you're married, more money and allows you to do better taxes, and you have a breakthrough in your income because of it. You'll notice that Jupiter in your 1st house, and this is true to December 15th, is going to protect you no matter what. You are under divine protection of the greater benefic. And so I wouldn't say that anything bad can come from this, really, but it's possible with Mars ruling your house of children. And something going on with one of your children is also afoot. And so, some of this change energy around money and debts involves a child of yours, whether they're, all grown up or slightly grown up. Look to some stories to do with money and children, and break free and breakthrough energy. Now I'm going to, now I'm going to close the window. I can't make my mind up here, can I? It's really cold out, but it feels like the building is emanating heat, even when I don't have my heat on. So what's Cancer? What's the power deck by Lynn V. Andrews suggest you might focus on during the 6-week transit of Mars through the sign of Sag? Wisdom. Oh, let's take a read for you. This is white, which is the north and the medicine wheel. And if you are addicted to the process, so watch for real addictions. If you're addicted to the process of becoming, there are storms on your horizon. If suddenly there's nothing left to become, you are filled with terror suddenly. You are face to face with your empty being. Pluto is in the house of enlightenment, right? The moksha, spiritual liberation of the 8th, is to disidentify from your egoic self, to die before you die. To know that you are truly alone is the first step. Find a sacred space, a sanctuary of pleasant stillness in your heart. To know that you are truly alone is the first step in the long journey of self-discovery on the path to power. The final step is to learn that you are already linked with the universe. You are already a part of everything, and you already live in all the lodges of the universe. My house has many mansions, Jesus said. That's many dimensions. This is wisdom. All right. You have the potential for spiritual awakening and breaking of karmic patterns from past lives under the sky. So I wish you the very best with that. Especially self-undoing patterns where you're your own enemy. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. In this story, you have Mars trining you in a flowing energy, looking back at you in a trine from the 5th house, which is positive. just like Aries doesn't mind this, and Leo and Sag, you all kind of vibing out with it. And you're going to find that the Mars in the fifth house can be very passionate, and you might find yourself really engaged in passionate projects, hobbies, entrepreneurial endeavors, or sexual and romantic love stories. And your children belong to the fifth house, and maybe there's something going on for one of your children. Sometimes Mars here could mean one of your children is moving out of the house, or it can just be they're going through a time of increased passion. You, as I said in the beginning, go back in time, compare to December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 22, November 24th of 23 to January 4th of 24, when you've had this before. In the sense of romance, right? Especially with Pluto creating a wedge and Uranus in the 11th house, a friend situation, your friend zone friends somebody can suddenly say, I'm totally into you. You're surprised. Next thing you know, you're in a transformative, powerful, regenerative, renewing romantic relationship with somebody that you thought was just a friend, or that your sibling one older introduced you to, or that you met because you were hanging out with friends. Now, with Venus and Libra at the initial ingress, I give this an okay for you to go out, to socialize, to hang out with friends, to do local things in the local environment. You will meet somebody if it's right for you, and it can be true all the way through until January 24th. If you're not looking for a partner, that's just fine. But for those of you who are, with Pluto in your seventh house, your marriage is being transformed, renewed, regenerated until 2044, or your long-term love relationship. There may be something going on vis-a-vis one of your children and your significant other that could be sort of like electrifying or lighting the sky up. You might get a surprise from a sibling one older than you, or a sibling two younger than you. But if that is occurring, it's going to be with Pluto, something that brings a new level of power, even wealth into your life. In fact, all the siblings are really activated. All right. So you could just say you've got sibling energy going on here. That's for sure. And some sibling energy could have some surprises, but also some positive benefits for you on the financial front. And then lastly, I'll say before I go ahead and draw a card for you guys, if you have a sudden conflict or disruptive moment with a friend or a sibling, one older or two younger, that wouldn't surprise me. During the entirety, actually, of the month of November 4th to December 15th, although it's more acute this week ahead in the first week of November. But all said and done, Pluto's tying up the whole thing in a nice little wedge, and he brings their attention to other people. Focus on others, focus on your spouse, focus on your audience and marketplace. Don't get caught up if you're child drama or friend drama or sibling drama. Try to find more power in how you're reflected or mirrored back by people who are important to you, including some of you, your marketplace, your audience, your clients, or your spouse. We're going to draw a card for you, Leos, and see what we get in this deck and see if it's any help to you. And we have transformation. Well, we have Pluto staring at you from the marriage house, right? What are you going to do? And it is West, which is the West in the medicine wheel. And the color is black. Black. The power of your intent leads you around the sacred wheel of endeavor. Begin today with trust and innocence in the early hours. Imagine a quiet pond and see the reflection of your true self. At noon, take a moment to close your eyes and to dream. Imagine the transformation in the 6 weeks ahead that this 6 weeks offers you. Through your ability, Leo, to love, seek the strength and wisdom to bring this transformation into action and into the words you speak. At night, give thanks for the illumination you have found. Know that the form of your intent leads you to the power of transformation. Well, Pluto is transformative, and he's in the house of everybody else looking at you and reflecting you back to you. It's intense. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign, what's going on? It is a movement of 6 weeks of Mars in your fourth house of home, property, land, and real estate. You're probably going to move, but you don't have to. Obviously, this happens every 2 years, so not everybody moves, but it could engender a move. You had this experience back in December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 2022. You had this experience as well, November 24th of 2023 to January 4th of 2024. Now, if you're not moving, changing your home, you could be constructing, building in the home, doing lots of work on the home or in the home, working hard from home, or doing something to renovate the home. You could also, with this Mars transit, find yourself very confrontational or argumentative with someone you're living with, roommate, friend, spouse, kids. It can bring a lot of intense energy that fuels some combative words at home. So be careful for that. And you can also injure yourself in the home. Be careful for that. Don't fall off a ladder, burn your hand, and don't put the shower water scaldingly hot, as you get the idea. Energetically, you never had Uranus in the 10th house before. So Uranus up there is literally like, okay, big surprises to do with your work and career and reputation, connected to your home and private life. Now, with Pluto creating a wedge to the 6th house, it can be a change of home. And that wasn't true in the other years, like a sudden, shocking, surprising new professional opportunity that may have you moving your home or creating a new home office or something. You could have a sudden, surprising opportunity to rent a new property. I think I said that. There could be some unexpected changes in the health or well-being of one of your pets. And you may also experience this 6 weeks ahead as something that's going to activate your your reputation in the world as it applies to your long-term primary love relationship. Okay, I'll keep it simple. So you could get a wedding proposal, or you could go to announce to the whole world, surprise, after being together for so long, we decide to call it quits. Either of those kinds of things could happen here just because of Uranus in the 10th house, squaring your 4th. And so your relationships get all muddled into the mix as well. I mean, if it's going to go well, it could be an exciting time with you and a significant other to move in together, to get a wedding marriage proposal set, to, buy a property together, to, there's shifts there that take you to the next level. They're swiftly happening, and they may be surprising as well. Okay, and decisions that you make in and from your home bring you more wealth and power in your work and career space. All right. It's really good for also improving your health through regeneration, transformation, and digging into the underground realm of your childhood to move yourself in breakthrough ways through any challenges to your health, mental, emotional, or physical, especially if you're your own worst enemy. And there's also like a breakthrough from your childhood stuff. You're the second card to get this. Aries had the same one. It's called masculine. It's about balancing your masculine and feminine. It's east on the medicine wheel. So it tells you that you really want to carry your consciousness, the gift of that, from the heart of woman, the heart of Mother Earth, trek toward the summit of higher knowledge. And because male and female imbalances, Earth is in danger of dying. We know that. Remember that the power of the masculine explodes as Earth is not going to die. We're going to die on her. We're like the really bad case of psoriasis that Mother Earth has got. Earth is in danger of dying. No, she's not. Remember that the power of the masculine explodes as the power of the feminine implodes, and a sacred spiral of life is set into motion. One cannot live without the other. The masculine god is in search of the feminine goddess, and he brings gifts of driving force to her powers of intuitive, creative receptivity. Both are equal warriors in the fight against ignorance. Balance your masculine, feminine energies, Virgo, through meditation and awareness, and know when you are carrying a male or female shield. This is your struggle in life, is yet a great source of power when it's balanced. And well, that kind of works for me because you've got this sort of square from Uranus and Mars to your 7th house. And that's your significant relationships in the I-thou axis. I don't care if you're not heterosexual. Somebody carries more feminine or someone else carries more masculine in any relationship. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's do a time check. I'm just making sure I'm not going to be missing my deadlines today. I thought I'd pop this out, okay? I thought I'd pop this out because I think Mars is important. Sometimes these videos don't do well because people don't know they should care about a Mars sign change. So please hit the like button. Thanks. Okay, Libra. What I've got going here for you is you've got this wild ride ahead in your 3rd house. And it could be literal. Like you could be taking a road trip, journeying somewhere, traveling somewhere, coming up ahead. And with Uranus in the 9th house, it could also be international, and it's exciting. So there's definitely some unexpected or exhilarating or freedom loving travel opportunities for you between November 4th and December 15th. but you had similar energies back in November of 2023, like November 24th through to January 4th of 24. Were you traveling? Similar energy December 13th of 2021 to January 24th of 2022. Now, if you're not going to recapitulate some exhilarating journeys, and that you haven't had Uranus here, so this has got freedom, breakthrough, break free. This is really exciting for book publishing, contracts and writing and agents and deals, and that energy of the 3-9 axis is hugely powerful for you in the 6 weeks ahead. I do like Pluto a lot in your 5th house. If you're traveling and you want to get a romantic love story kicking off, travel can bring you romance. Pluto in your 5th house is your transformational power up in your creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial and muse-driven projects. And he's flowing to like a stroke of originality, a stroke of brilliance. You might be very passionately writing, working on your website. This is good for teaching, marketing, selling. If you're an entrepreneur, social media landscape could lift off a bit for you as well. And, you know, with Uranus, something can go viral. I find that podcasts and stuff like that can be 9th house. It can also be 3rd house. 3rd house is a media house, social media, but like serial podcasting can often be a 9th house story, or book publishing deals as well. Let's see what happens for you during the 6 weeks ahead and try to compare some notes to the past. Again, it can't be the same, right? I would like it to be, but Uranus and Pluto are completely different places, but the house is the same house. It's a Sag, same house, writing, communicating, teaching, traveling, local neighborhood events. It's asking you to focus on individuality. There's like a boardroom, right? And there's this guy who's completely breaking the mold in his indigenous outfit of some sort. All right. It's the north on the medicine wheel. Color is white. When the shield carrier reaches the top of the mountain, she never seeks approval because approval is based on doubt. Your strength and wisdom, Libra, are celebrated in your unique ability to view the experience of life with new vision. Power lies in the 6 weeks ahead in individuality and the ability to see yourself through your own eyes and not through the eyes of others. To be in power, you must own your power and exist with it, and exist within your own individuality. That's that 9th house energy, right? The 9th house is going to take us to Dharma, to God, to truth, to wisdom, to true north. And even while it's not, you wouldn't quite say it's individuality. Your 5th house is your natural talents and gifts that you are individually born with, that you inherited from your family of origin. So expressing those in a unique way that you have come out with that fingerprint of who you are in this world. If you're not entrepreneurial at this point, this would not be a bad 6 weeks to start an entrepreneurial direction or an artistic new direction just for fun and see what happens. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. So the first things you need to pay attention to here is that you repeating this money story here. So, you know, resources, possessions, earnings, Mars in your 2nd house. Not too shabby for facial rejuvenation, dental work as well, between November 4th to December 15th, right? Laser treatments, injectables, dental work, all of that. Not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I'm going to go into all the details. Mars is getting more and more invisible. So, but still, he's still the right guy for the job, right? Mr. Scalpel, Mr. Laser. But here he is, and he's going to be in this part of your sky, your 2nd house, all the way through until December 15th. It can really help you work on matters to do with your earnings, your possessions, your salary and wages, maybe things to do with also, you know, what you really want to do vocationally. And so you might be making changes here. Sometimes he's a big spender and maybe you'll have to spend a bit more money. It's really good for entrepreneurial chutzpah if you want to start your own hustle. And so these are themes that are ongoing during this 6-week transit. If you go, did I tell you to go back to November 24th of 2023 to January 4th of 2024? Go back and compare notes. Think about money, spending, earnings, resources, decisions around work, maybe things to do with dental stuff or facial surgeries or something. Go back to December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 2022. Maybe there's some notes to compare. If you want to change your dietary habits by cutting out bad stuff, Mars helps you eliminate the bad things you're eating in order to Chiron heal your health. So this is really good for dietary changes as well. Because you have an exciting Uranus across the way in the house of inheritances, shared resources with a spouse, spousal support, alimony, separation of marital divorce assets, or shocking, surprising money coming from like tax rebates, insurance payouts, investments in the markets taking off, or something like that. You could have a really, 2-8 surprise around money, surprise around some money coming your way that you didn't expect, you weren't planning for. And with Pluto in the fourth house, it could be connected to property, land, and real estate, or your legacy wealth from up your family line, right, all the way up the line. Can be father, mother, it doesn't really matter. Something about money that comes from the lineage you come from, transfer of wealth from somebody in your family of origin is a possibility. When this ingress first begins, the moon is trining the north node. Well, we're getting into that. Never mind. Let's Taurus lunation. You're seeing that right there. I've already got a video on that. So let's just say unexpected money because you sell a property, buy a property, money connected to property, unexpected developments, unexpected refinancing of your mortgage, unexpected financial breaks. Okay, that's what I've got for you. Somehow, some way, it seems like unexpected financial break is on the way. Get the fine print checked out by a fine print person like a lawyer, because with Mercury in like a new job opportunity, sign-on bonus, Mercury doesn't see the fine print in Sagittarius. You need to have a fine print eyeball to help you to figure that out. All right, so it's truth, right? We're looking at truth. It's red on the medicine wheel. That means it is the south where childhood and children are. And that makes sense. Pluto's in the house of your childhood. It's like almost like a treasure chest from childhood is there as well. Are you living your sacred truth? Your being is like a spirit lodge. Within this sacred place is the realization of the divine light of your creation. Live in your spirit lodge, surrounded by peace and joy, and outside your lodge is the great wilderness where the rest of the world lives. But that wilderness has become a battleground sustained by the blood of ignorance and earthly pain. To have lasting power in the world, Scorpio, you must earn the trust of those around you. Most people live without trust and a sacred place within, without a spirit lodge, and as such, they do not know how to enter the spirit lodge of others. Live within you, sacred truth, live within your sacred truth so that you may know peace and joy in the great wilderness and beyond. Eighth house and fourth house are spiritual awakening houses, liberation from the matrix. So there is that going on here for you. And with the second house activation, it can be a massive change in your value structures as you decompress something at a spiritual level as well. I'll leave that card with you to ponder. Perhaps for some of you, it makes sense. And for some of you, it may not. So take what work resonates and leave the rest. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Of course, you are in the thick of it. Probably should have started with you. You are experiencing Mars through your sign for 6 weeks every 2 years. Makes you more aggressive, argumentative, conflictual, but also determined, action-taking, and powerfully able to make decisions that are necessary in your life. So you did have that power, for example, in November 24th of 2023 to January 4th of 24. You had that same power, superpower, December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 22. And here we are, November the 4th to December 15th this time around. It could look like you are, with Uranus across the way, having a shock or a surprise regarding a legal contract, a marriage type partnership, a client marketplace audience member in your realm of work. There's something you're not seeing, expecting. It may shock or surprise you. And it's interesting to see, of course, that you have the Pluto activation as well. And it could be like your partner's going to unexpectedly announce something to you, or you to them. It may involve something to do with wealth and shared monies. It may also have some connection to matters of travel. Or if you're not even dealing with a partner in love, it could be you're dealing with a sibling 3 older than you and 1 younger. And there's all this electric current around wealth, money, resources, and surprising announcements and decisions that must be made. You could find a new relationship under this energy, but you will be traveling or you might find the person because you're learning, or you're in a learning, teaching, traveling mode of some sort. It's not the worst and it's not the best, but if you're going to find somebody with Venus in the 11th house trining Uranus, it's way outside the box of the kind of people that you thought you'd ever date. There's something about it that's very different than your traditional type, right? And even a friend could suddenly show up as a partner and you're all like, well, I thought you were just friends. We're just friends. And that's the surprise as well. But again, I'm not seeing it mainly as a relationship item, but it certainly could end up with overlaps to relationship as well in the next 6 weeks ahead. Disruptions and surprises in existing relationships and opportunities for new relationships that are way outside the box, coloring way outside the lines of the kind of love that you traditionally seek. Maybe you go way outside the box. You thought you were hetero and you're not. So we have a vision for you. We need to have a vision. I love this card. All right, what vision are you going to create under this kind of sky? At times, you will have less vision because of that dimness. You will become unbalanced in your seeing, and you will see everything, every stone, every machine, every tree as being dead instead of alive. As your vision grows, Mercury's in your first house with Mars through to about the 10th or 11th of November, because he will retrograde. Or the 16th, I can't remember. The point is that Mercury is your mind as well, and how you're thinking, and he's a little bit diluted in Sag. So this is a good card for you, because really have to look at your how clear your perceptions are now, especially around a marriage type partner. As your vision grows, sit still within the city and begin to see the stones and the plans and the machines are alive. Even the dead trees have passed through the gateway in the west. Their spirits carry on in the dreaming shield, or the configurations of the experiences of your life. Begin to see the life within every aspect. Yeah, see the animating force within everything. Why not? Begin to see the sacredness in all things, in their energy, their colors, their luminous forms, their shadow beings, and then you will become strong. See power all around you. It is you, and when you do, you will have true vision. Not too bad, guys. 3 more signs to go. Let's roll. And then I'm ready, my deadline. Let's take a look at the next sign. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. First off, what is going on is that you have the Sagittarius transit for 6 weeks, starting on November 4th to December the 15th. Mars here in your 12th house is extremely powerful if you are trying to cut away karmic knots, like get rid of them, vows of chastity, vows of poverty. But on a very practical note, it often indicates travel abroad or to a distant shore or land far from where you currently reside. And if that's true, Mercury there is Mr. Let's get a ticket. Just watch out. You really look at the details of those bookings. Mercury doesn't see the details. You'll find out you thought you got a first class ticket and they put you at the back of the plane. You want to be careful. At the same time, this whole 6-week transit, which could involve international or far off land travel, is also connected to South Node energy. So if you go to traveling to a far off land, you've been there before. It's not like it's brand new. It's got an energy of familiarity. You've been there in the past. Uranus, for the very first time, is in your 6th house. I mean, you can compare notes, by the way, but 6th house, I'm going to give you the other dates, but 6th house energy is karmic debts, karmic debt relationships that want to break away, break free, or change it up. Maybe things to do with your work and your health, especially with Mars in the 6th house, inflammation and hospitals. You might need some surgery, unexpected, surprising health developments that require surgery over the course of 6 weeks. But Pluto supports the whole thing, especially if the surgery involves anything to do with face, teeth, gums, that part of your body, maybe throat. But Pluto also says you want to power up. You want to power up in your wealth or your money or your possessions. And this could happen with an unexpected opportunity for someone, work opportunity from some person or situation in a distant shore, foreign land, or foreign place. You had this kind of energy already playing out back in December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 2022, but also November 24th of 23 to January 4th of 2024. If you're going to look at this as a work opportunity, which it could be, it definitely can be, it's going to be activated by Jupiter, somebody in your past may be coming up, or that because Jupiter's about to retrograde mid-month, that would be an ally for you. You could also get some unexpected, surprising developments connected to debts and indebtedness with a sibling 3 older than you, and some remediation of those debts. And one of the other things I wonder about here for you is breaking free and breaking through of karmic patterns of some sort, which is very 6th house, 12th house, especially when it comes to love relationships, right? Venus is trining whole sign, trining that Uranus. And if you have any patterns that you need to like bury and let them rest in peace and you're completely done with it, that's definitely what we'd see with Venus in the public eye, and Uranus at the 6th house placement. With Jupiter in your 6th house, 7th house through to next July. If you're not with somebody, you will be. If you're married, it could get more prosperous and joyful, or your partner could get richer. But also, there's a lot of like blessings in the house of significant relationships for you over the course of the next year until next July. But Jupiter gives you what you want, not you need. Not what you need. You don't always get what you want. You get what you need. Rolling Stones. And so, if there's a relationship that's not for you, then it will not stick. Okay, whether it's like 30 years of marriage or anything, like 3 weeks of dating. Let's take a look at the cards for you. What do we got? The card we're going to draw today is from Lynn Andrews. It is called the Cards of Wisdom, and it's the Power deck. And thank God I am recording. And what we're going to see is what supporting guidance we have from a very luminous, very spiritual vibe oracle deck. Oh, I don't know. I haven't read it. Look at the picture. Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. It's silence. It's number 22, like the Fool in the Tarot. And it's black from in the West. Silence is connected to Mars's transit through your 12th house because it's a house of ashrams, isolation, contemplation, jails, and hospitals. But we can be silent without going to a jail or a hospital. Let's read it. Before making a decision of power, move into the place of silence and serenity deep within you. That's where Mars is. Sit anywhere, close your eyes, follow your breath in and out. On the third inhalation, take the breath down to your belly and locate your place of power, your shaman center below your navel. Visualize this place of power holding the golden sun, the disk of radiant brilliance. It's a dantian within you. Observe the silence like a deer in the misty marshland. If you are in pain, use your consciousness to find the place where pain lives within your body. Move into the pain and beyond it until you find the source of silence. In silence lives your sacred witness, that which sees all and knows all and is all that you are. Power is born within the silence. I love that card for you because of the activation of the full moksha liberation house of the 12th by Mars until December 15th. Well, it can simply be travel to distant shores, ashrams, spiritual communities, or time alone. It can also be spiritual awakening energy as well. And Uranus across the way is like that cool lightning bolt of an awakening. I listened to a lot of Eckhart Tolle lately, guys, and he makes this sound all the time. He likes to make mouth sounds. He likes to, he's kind of funny. And every time he goes, I go, oh, it's like someone hypnotized me to listen to him go, and I feel so chill. All right. So Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, Stillness Speaks. Okay. All right. If you are an Aquarius sun, moon, and rising, and this is me too, I'm a rising sign, so I can relate. If this is your sign, you're going to notice something that we have a transit of Mars through our 11th house of good spirit. This is friends, benefactors, allies. This is a sibling one older, and this is a place of career profitability and gains. Now, Mars will bring changes, decisions, action, and intensity to that part of our sky between November 4th and December 15th. But he's been there before. He was there November 24th of 2023 to January 4th of 2024. He was also there December 13th of 2021 to January 24th of 2022. So you might want to go back and reclaim that time in your memory. It's not entirely the same by any means, but Mars could have cut away friends like he does, like prune the friendship tree on you. Like, I'm going to cut away all the friends that aren't right for you. And he could just go there for you for 6 weeks and sort of pare down the friendship circles to find friends that are really, truly yours, that you fit with. The other thing Mars can do up here is really put you into a lot of decision-making, action-taking power around improving your gains from your career specifically. The 11th house is the second from the 10th and represents the gains of the career. And so you might be passionate, working hard, figuring it out, taking action decisions. Be careful with Mercury in Sag, doesn't have the fine print. You might think this is a great direction. You need to really look at whether you could exercise this choice or decision in a way that is practical and realistic. That said, this is a house of windfalls. I would never say that Mars brings windfalls as a general principle. However, Uranus is in the house of good fortune. And so you may come into some, and Mercury represents tickets or lottery or ballots. And so this could look like a ka-ching moment where, oh my God, you won some money because Pluto, the god of wealth, is in your sign. So somehow, some way, you might come into money that you didn't earn, that you might sort of win in some way, like feeling like you won some money. And certainly the North Node of increase in the house of possessions and pocketbook, it says something similar. It's very exciting. Mars here is definitely powerful if you're thinking of revising your long-range plans and goals, your 5-year plan, your 3-year plan, because your decision-making power is really heightened here. You know which direction to go. You'll figure it out. And it sextiles your sign, so you like this placement. It feels good for you. And Jupiter's ruling this movement from the house of work. So again, the decisions about career, work, profitability gains, and applying a new path ahead, like kind of planning ahead for something different and something new. If you're looking for romantic love, Uranus, Pluto, and Mars energy could happen. However, new romantic love could come because it will be very unexpected. You wouldn't be seeing it happening. You wouldn't be planning for it, but someone might introduce you, like a friend introduces you to someone. You go to an event, and in that setting with a larger group of people, 11th house, you look across the crowded football field and you know that there's something bubbling up between you and another. So I'm going to give you that. Okay. It may be some surprises in the life of a child. Okay. That's just because of Uranus and the life of a child vis-a-vis perhaps their own friendship circles and their own friendship groups, for example. Or unexpected pregnancy, for example, with a child of yours. Hopefully this is an adult child, right? This doesn't surprise me. This is called force because you've got Pluto in your sign. You are a force to be reckoned with through till 2044. Don't be afraid of Pluto. If you can work with Pluto, it's die before you die. It's deep transformation, regeneration, renewal, and catharsis. And if you can go there, you're going to find he's your ally. Here's the reading for your card. Force lives in your will and comes from your intent. Life is a process of pulling back your bow, aiming your arrow, choosing a target, and shooting. The degree and quality of the force with which you choose your target and shoot determine your power and your success. Force is built through your integrity of purpose, your physical tuning, and your balance of spirit and mind. By naming your act of power, Aquarius, you create force. Follow your innermost passions in life. Empower your will and your strength of force by manifesting your secret dreams. Manifest your secret dreams. These are your wishes and dreams for your life. The 11th house. Mars is your secret dreams you have. And Pluto, Mars is personal will, and Pluto can be transpersonal will. So you're really coming into this recalibration of your personal dreams. And with Uranus in the 5th house of your natural gifts and talents, some of those dreams have to align with your muse, the creative process, and your natural gifts and talents. And that's one of the things the next 6 weeks will help you define. I hope anyway. I'm one of you. I want that for me. All right. Last and not least is Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Oh, I think I might end with a poem for you guys. Outro is a poem just because I didn't have anything planned. All right. So Pisces, it looks to me like you've got that Sag movement through your career and reputation space, which can definitely be exciting. Mars and Sag up there. First of all, a lot of times people just grind and work really hard, right? Mars was in Scorpio. Scorpio is my 10th house. I was grinding through my Sky Reader class. You could be very busy applying yourself to some kind of work. November 4th of this year till December 15th. But were you really applying yourself diligently with great heartfelt passion and striving? November 24th of 23 to January 4th of 24, or December 13th of 21 to January 24th of 22. Can you compare those times? If you don't do that, sometimes you get so tired of your job, you want to quit, or your job gets quitting you because of layoffs in the company, and that's not entirely impossible. Mercury can represent that pink slip, so to speak, and you're like, oh no, bad news, and I wish I had my job, but oh well, something better will happen. Uranus in the fourth house of home, property, land, and real estate is exciting and exhilarating, and it means that you can have unexpected change of home, and you might feel super jazzed about it, like you're like, oh my god, I wasn't thinking of a move, but I'm kind of interested in it now. It squares your marriage house and can be difficult and unexpected or erratic energy connected to your spouse. If you have a spouse, they may be going through some really intense twists and turns. Now, because Pluto's in the house of hospitals, it's possible there's a health challenge that your partner's going through, and you'll have to see them through a hospital challenge, and that's all it is. I mean, that's not all it is, but it could be a thing that it is. All right, I don't want you to worry about that. You see it right there, right? And because it squares your spouse. And I kind of feel like if you're at all thinking of making money from digital income, borderless revenue, people in foreign lands and places like through PayPal and Stripe, where, there's no border to your money, that is Pluto in your 12th house. And you'll work hard for your money. She works hard for her money. Yeah, it can bring excitement and exhilarated breakthroughs financially. Uranus can represent the internet as applied to from home. So home-based digital income and revenue surging or excitingly growing for you energetically. And, it's the beginning of that energy. The reason we're so focused on Uranus is because it's the initiatory energy of Mars heading into Sag. I mean, Uranus will retrograde out of there on the 7th, but it bakes in this excitement regarding home, and 10th house matters. And if I were you as well, under this kind of sky, although you do you might be making a change here in this time frame to something to do with your local environment, like your neighborhood. Maybe you're not going to be, I wouldn't, because there's some openings regarding a potential relocation, there may be some considerations about neighborhood. Maybe you want a more walk to neighborhood. Maybe you want a more quiet neighborhood. I don't necessarily think you'll move when Mars is here through to the December, but the consideration of the idea of a move may become very prominent for you during this transit. We got the card Truth for you, and we're going to finish up with a poem at the outro. Okay? It's beautiful. It's like standing stones and the earth. Beautifully done. I'm just going to read it. Are you living your sacred truth? Your being is like a spirit lodge, and within this sacred place is the realization and the divine light of your creation. Live in your spirit lodge, surrounded by peace and by joy. Outside your lodge is the great wilderness where the rest of the world lives. But that wilderness can become a battleground stained by the blood of ignorance and earthly pain. To have lasting power in the world, you must earn the trust of those around you. Most people live without trust and a sacred place within, without a spirit lodge. And as such, they do not know how to enter the spirit lodge of others. Live within your sacred truth so that you may know peace and joy in the great wilderness and beyond. Wow. That's a beautiful reading for you. Pluto is in a very powerful spiritual awakening house for those of you on that journey, FYI. And with Uranus in the fourth house, breaking free and breaking through, especially regarding childhood patterns, is a big one, and letting go and surrendering also, either literally a partner, like I'm, ending a relationship, or letting go of the dynamic in the relationship. That's that South Node in your 7th house. Now, I have a poem for you guys. I was doing a little scrolling last night on my phone, and I used to write a lot of poetry. Some of it's on my Wake and Dreamer website. This one I posted on Facebook and never kept a copy of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was 2012. And somehow I went back to 2000. Somehow I went back to, I'm going to go for a pee and I'll get back to you with the poem. Okay. So long story short, I'm just going to read you the poem, but it was in 2017 when Saturn was in Capricorn that I spilled liquid on my laptop. And now 7 years later, you see, well, we're in a Saturn cycle, basically. It was like late 17, and this is 7 years later in late 2025. And it really is the same story all over again, except this time I have Apple Care. And I started to go back through my phone to see what I was doing then. I was going through this spiritual awakening process, which I'm going through again right now, exactly. And it's called the first Saturn square. And so then I saw the poem that I'd written, but I hadn't written, I'm going to read it to you. I had not written this poem back then. I had written it in 2012, just after I had a massive spiritual blow through awakening in October of 2011. I was still blissed out for 5-6 months and complete spacious, still alert, imperturbable peace. Okay. And I wrote this poem and I'm going to share it with you. I've forgotten about it, right? It's not like I remember poems I put on Facebook, and I don't even do Facebook anymore. I think I don't like that place anymore. My dad was a pharmacist, and I called the poem prescription. Like light in a freshly washed sky, when the rain has scoured the air of all impurities, emptiness becomes a blank page on which awareness writes a new story without a middle, leaving just this, a beginning end, a tale read all at once in one eternal sitting, not on some holy mountaintop where dried up saints have emptied themselves of belly laughs and love. Rather, for best results, read this book of life that you are while dancing naked on the top of a rainbow. And I wrote that poem February 19th, 2012. And last night I rediscovered it. And that's my share for you guys today. I apologize for the bad blurry and lighting and all this stuff, but my refurbished or replaced MacBook Pro is coming to me. Don't forget to try to check out my All Signs bundle. That's how I managed to buy the product that you guys supported me to get the money for that laptop. And now I'm just going to get it fixed. No big deal. It's going to be fine. All right. Thanks, guys. Ciao, ciao. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you very, very much.